I'm Dawn, and I'm 40 years old. Looking back on a tough time in my life, it all started when I decided to end my marriage with Ben. I realized we weren't a good match because he acted like a child and annoyed me. The idea of staying with him forever felt like too much to bear. But it wasn't just Ben who made me unhappy. His mom, Carol, also made my life difficult. Right from the start, she made it clear she didn't think I was good enough for her son. Her constant criticism and mean comments made me feel bad about myself and like I didn't belong in my own marriage. I remember many times when Ben's immaturity and Carol's meddling caused problems for us. There were evenings after work when I hoped for a calm time at home, but Ben would be busy playing video games, ignoring me and our shared responsibilities. When I tried to talk to him about it, he just brushed me off, saying I was making a big deal out of nothing. Ben, I had a really long day at work. Could you please help out with the chores? Can it wait? I'm busy playing this game right now. But that wasn't even the worst part. There was a time when he forgot our anniversary. I can't believe you forgot our anniversary, Ben. It was a special day for us. Oh, come on, Don. It's just a date. We can celebrate it another time. Then he invited his mother over without even asking me first. Why did you invite your mother over without talking to me? I was hoping for a quiet weekend together. She's my mom, Don. She can visit whenever she wants. Don't be so stressed about it. And let me tell you about our money situation. It felt like I was married to a kid. Ben, can we talk about making some financial plans and saving for the future? You worry too much, John. Let's just spend our money and deal with it later. These are just a few examples of how my marriage was falling apart. My concerns were ignored, my feelings didn't matter, and my needs were forgotten. It became clear that Ben's childishness and lack of caring were big problems in our relationship. Then there were the family get-togethers where Carol would always find a way to insult me in front of everyone. Her mean comments about my looks, job, and even my cooking really hurt. She seemed to enjoy making me uncomfortable while Ben usually pretended not to notice, too scared to stand up to his mom. Let me give you a few real examples of how she, just like her son, put me down and made me feel small. Example 1. Carol, I spent a long time cooking this meal for everyone. I hope you like it. Well, let's see if it's even good. I'm not sure I trust your cooking. Example 2. Carol, I found this dress for the event. I think it would look nice on me. Oh honey, that dress is too revealing for someone your age. You want to look silly to you? Example 3. Carol, please don't criticize how I raise my kids. I know what's best for them. Well, clearly you don't, or you wouldn't make such silly decisions. What's wrong with you? Example 4. Carol, I've been working hard to stay healthy. I'd like your support. Oh please? All that exercise and dieting won't make a difference. You'll never look as good as me. Example 5. Carol, I asked you nicely before. Please stop saying mean things about me to other people. I'm just being honest, dear. People should know what you're really like. These conversations show how Carol always put me down and said hurtful things throughout my marriage. Her actions caused a lot of stress and made it hard to find any happiness with Ben. I reached a point where I knew I deserved better than this toxic situation. I made the tough choice to file for divorce, wanting to break free from the constant emotional pain I'd endured for too long. The courtroom became a place where I had to explain to the judge why I wanted to end the marriage, talking about how it had hurt me. When the legal process was over, I felt a bit lighter, like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. But then something unexpected happened. My ex-mother-in-law, Carol, couldn't hide her happiness. She stood up in court looking thrilled, and said she'd finally gotten rid of me and won her son back. I've won. I finally won. Hearing her say that made me furious. How could she be happy about my pain and the end of my marriage? I couldn't hold back my anger. I told her exactly what I thought of her, calling her out for being a mean and spiteful person. But instead of being affected by what I said, Carol just laughed. Her laughter filled the courtroom, making the end of that painful chapter in my life even harder to bear. It was a scary reminder that some people feel like they win by hurting others, and her joy only made me more determined to move past the toxic situation I'd been in. Leaving the courtroom behind, I decided to take back control of my life and find the happiness I deserved. Carol's laughter reminded me of the battles I fought and the strength I found in myself. I wouldn't let others' judgments or cruelty define me anymore. I was determined to rise above the negativity and embrace the freedom waiting for me. With every step forward, I started a journey of healing and self-discovery. The path ahead wasn't easy, but I faced it with determination. I knew finding happiness wouldn't be easy, but I'd grown stronger from the struggles I'd faced. It was time to leave behind the drama and pain and look forward to a future full of hope and self-love. But unfortunately, the story doesn't end there. It seems like trouble just keeps finding me. Remember when Carol was gloating about winning? Well, she thought she'd get something out of it, but she never did, and she never will. You see, she believed she'd finally get her hands on a prized family heirloom she'd envied for years. What she didn't know was that I held the key to her dreams. It was a stunning diamond orchid necklace, passed down through generations in my family. Its beauty and rarity made it incredibly valuable, worth millions of dollars. Carol's eyes always lit up with greed whenever she saw it, but she could never have it. Throughout my marriage to Ben, Carol would often suggest selling the necklace for practical reasons, but I always refused, explaining its sentimental value and importance to my family. Even after the divorce, Carol still thought she deserved half of its worth. She believed she was entitled to it, thinking it would fulfill her materialistic desires. But what she didn't know was that I had a plan. It had been a month since the divorce, and I thought I'd left Carol and her schemes behind. Then, one evening, I was surprised when I heard a familiar knock on my door. Opening it, I saw Carol standing there, crying and shaking. "Dawn, please, can we talk?" Feeling curious and a bit sorry for her, I let her in to get away from the cold. I wondered why she was so upset and why she'd come to see me. We sat down in the living room, and I asked her to tell me what was wrong. Through her tears, Carol managed to speak, her voice trembling. "My plan, it's all gone wrong, Dawn," Carol said between sobs. "I thought I'd get what I wanted, but it's turned into a disaster." I felt skeptical but curious about what she was talking about. "What plan, Carol? And why are you so upset?" Carol took a deep breath, trying to calm herself down. "You see, I thought Ben would get half of the value of the heirloom, and I would finally get what I wanted. But he told me something that changed everything." I leaned in, eager to hear what she had to say. "What did Ben tell you, Carol? Please tell me." Carol wiped away her tears, her voice sounding regretful and surprised. Ben told me he'd forgotten to mention a prenuptial agreement he signed before we got married. It said the heirloom and all your money were protected. I never had a chance." I couldn't help but laugh, feeling a mix of relief and triumph. "Oh, Carol, I've been waiting for this moment. I always knew your schemes would backfire." Carol's face turned red with embarrassment and anger. "You knew the whole time, and you let me think I had won. How could you do that?" Leaning back in my chair, feeling triumphant, I smiled at Carol. "Oh, Carol, I didn't make you believe anything. You just saw what you wanted to see because you were so focused on what you wanted. I knew the truth would come out eventually, and it did." As Carol faced the reality of her actions, her tears turned into frustration and regret. She had gambled and lost, leaving her with nothing but defeat. "I can't believe you had a prenup, Dawn. I was hoping to get some of your money after the divorce." "Carol, this isn't about being a good wife. It's about protecting myself and what's mine from people like you. I was smart enough to look out for my future. Don't be upset, Carol. You're the one who tried to trick and manipulate others for your own gain." Reluctantly, Carol pulled herself together, glaring at me with a mix of anger and resignation. "Heartless. You dare to call me heartless, Carol? Look at how you treated me during my marriage to Ben. You were mean, cruel, and always trying to control everything." As Carol stormed out, the room fell silent. The weight of her failed plans hit her hard. It was clear that her greed and deceit had led to her downfall, leaving her with nothing. I stayed strong, knowing I had to stand up for myself and what was mine. I had learned that trust and love shouldn't blind me to betrayal. As Carol reluctantly composed herself, she shot me a glare filled with anger and resignation. The bitterness of her own decisions hung heavy in the air as she muttered one word: "Heartless." I couldn't let that slide. "You call me heartless? Carol, look at how you treated me during my marriage to Ben. You were mean, cruel, and always trying to control everything." "I never treated you badly," Dawn firmly asserted. "You're exaggerating, Dawn." "Oh, really? Let me remind you of the time you purposefully excluded me from family events, constantly belittled my achievements, and spread rumors about me behind my back. You enjoyed seeing me suffer," Carol retorted, frustration evident in her voice. "I did no such thing. You're just trying to paint me as the villain. Stop denying it, Carol. I've had enough of your lies and manipulation. Get out of my house, please, Dawn demanded, her patience wearing thin. Dawn, please, just give me some money. I really need it, Carol pleaded desperately. I'll give you 30 seconds to get off my property, or I'll call the police. This is your last chance, Dawn warned seriously. You can't treat me like this, Dawn. We're family. Families should be kind to each other, Carol argued angrily. Goodbye, Carol, Dawn said firmly as Carol left, looking upset and defeated. As the seconds passed, Carol's face showed a mix of anger, shock, and feeling like she lost. She realized she couldn't control Dawn like she wanted to. Reluctantly, she walked towards the door. The tension between them filled the air. Carol gave one last look before leaving, stepping into an uncertain future and facing the consequences of her actions. I stood tall, feeling both relieved and free. I had cut off ties with something toxic and took back control of my life. The next day rolled in, and yet another person from my past tried to make amends. What do you want, Ben? I asked, my voice cold and unwelcoming. Dawn, I need your help. I'm in a tough spot right now. And I thought maybe. Ben's voice trailed off, sounding desperate. Forget it, Ben. I don't want to hear your excuses. You had the nerve to call me instead of facing me in person. How cowardly can you get? I interrupted, my patience running out. I thought this approach would be better, Dawn. Please just listen to me, Ben pleaded, his voice trembling. All right, Ben. Go ahead. Explain to me how you always put down my goals, laughed at my dreams, and made me feel inadequate. Do you recall those instances? I confronted him. I'm not sure what you mean, Dawn. We had our differences, but Ben started, but I interrupted him. Disagreements? Is that what you call it? I call it emotional abuse. You constantly underestimated me, trying to crush my spirit, but I'm done with it. I deserve better, I declared firmly. Please, I'm sorry for everything. I'm in a tough spot right now, and I thought maybe you could help me out. Ben's voice trailed off once more, his desperation evident. It's ironic, Ben. You agreed to the prenup, yet now you're here begging and pleading. I didn't fully understand what I was signing. I just knew I loved you. Stop pretending, Ben. You probably expected me to change my mind, I remarked sharply, my tone cutting through the air. Dawn, please just listen to me, Ben pleaded once more. I'm saying this for the last time. If you ever attempt to reach out to me again, I'll take legal action and get a restraining order against you. Clear? I warned him sternly. But Dawn. Ben tried to protest, but I cut him off. No, Ben, it's finished. Goodbye, I stated firmly, ending the call and removing his number from my contacts. I was finally free from both of them, and I felt relieved. As I sat and pondered on the journey I'd been through since my turbulent marriage ended, a feeling of contentment enveloped me. I was in a much better place now, both mentally and emotionally. It felt like a heavy burden had been lifted, allowing me to breathe freely once more. Life had taken an unexpected turn, and I found myself enjoying the simple pleasures it offered. I embraced my newfound freedom and delved back into the dating scene, meeting new people and relishing the excitement of forming romantic connections. Throughout this journey, I learned to value myself and refused to settle for anything less than the love and respect I deserved. Alongside the thrill of new relationships, I discovered strength and empowerment in sharing my story with others. The struggles I faced during my marriage inspired me to write a memoir, documenting the challenges I overcame. It became a symbol of my inner strength and offered hope to others who had faced similar hardships. Meanwhile, I couldn't ignore the bitterness of my ex-husband and mother-in-law. They seemed envious as they watched my success and happiness grow. They had underestimated my resilience, and now they faced the consequences of their actions. It was a satisfying reversal of fortune. Though I had moved away from their toxic influence, they still tried to damage my reputation, but I was determined to rise above their negativity and continue thriving. Despite Carol and Ben's futile attempts to tarnish my reputation, I refused to be silenced or underestimated. I remained steadfast in protecting my integrity and had taken legal action against them for their slanderous words. Their efforts to provoke me only fueled my determination to hold them accountable for their actions. As I faced this new chapter, I felt grateful for the inner strength I had found and the support of my friends and loved ones who stood by me. Surrounded by a network of uplifting individuals, I felt inspired to keep reaching for my goals. Their unwavering encouragement reminded me that I was capable of overcoming any obstacle. From the ruins of my failed marriage, I rose stronger and wiser than ever. I learned to value myself, set boundaries, and pursue my happiness without apology. The journey was tough, but it led me to self-empowerment and a life that was truly mine. My story wasn't just about pain and struggle, it was about resilience and triumph. I conquered the shadows of my past and stepped into a future full of promise. With each new chapter I wrote, I felt a renewed sense of purpose, embracing the joy that had been missing for too long. With every stroke of my pen, I reclaimed my voice, my strength, and my freedom. My goal wasn't to drag them down, but to rise above, showcasing the resilience and dignity within me. I was Dawn, the phoenix who emerged from the ashes, and I was prepared to soar higher than ever before, leaving my past behind me.